Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas. Welcome to this special show where we are trying to understand life, how it unfolds in front of us, and counter to our expectations of happy married life. Sometimes there are obstacles on the path of togetherness, which hits us so hard that requires a lot of courage and consistent commitment to take care of our offspring. And I have in studio someone who is a separated father, and his struggle to be with his kids and to take care of them is eye-opener on many levels. It tells us about emotional strength as well as how when you are away from India and there is jurisdiction of American courts as well as Indian courts entering into such critical and crucial phase of your lives, it becomes a challenge that many of us cannot even imagine. I take this opportunity welcoming and congratulating for the courage with which you have pursued Dharmesh Ved ji, the search of your daughter. So, first of all, as any person who comes to America with dreams and aspirations, so briefly talk to us about your journey of coming to America, and then probably you went back to get married and those years.
Yes, absolutely. I came with my family. I was age of 16, 17 with my entire family. We came with a green card. As again, aspirations, this was 1991, aspirations to live in America, to get educated and get a better life. So I came with my entire family in the United States. I got my education here, got my bachelor's degree, and then my family wanted me to get married as normal Indian family would. So I did go to India. This was planned an arranged marriage as typical India people we would do within the caste. So there was a same common caste. We got married in India in 1999 with my ex-wife Sejal Dhutia. I sponsored her. She came to United States in 2000. We had a good happy life till 2009. She lived together. The entire marriage was lived in the United States of America. And we had 2 children at the time. One was born Payal, she was born in 2001, and the other one, Neeti, was born in 2007, until things went south, where our family wanted a child after my second.
Well, let's just stop here and look at the normal happy period of your married life, and anything that was like an indicator that there could be something wrong between you and your wife. Were you getting along well in terms of understanding each other?
Yeah, there was never an issue. The love was always there. Honestly, I always, even at the time, begged her, why are you doing this? Unfortunately, her family was more of a concern in terms of how they were manipulating her to move to India, take the children away, and somehow use
so
it as a
I'm sorry to interrupt you again, but I just want our viewers to understand that which we consider as normal sometimes may turn out to be so extremely away from normal as has happened in his case. So just in the spirit of trying to understand, your first child was almost 7 when second was born.
Second was born, yes,
Right.
in 2007.
So the kind of relationship which your first daughter Payal had with her mother and with her father, was there anything where she felt that she's not getting the kind of motherly attention which she deserves?
I was always the mother and father kind of dual role, even when my daughter was born. Always more caring for the daughter in terms of even changing her diapers and giving her what she needed. My wife was mostly involved in discussion with her parents, long hours of phone conversation, and that kind of life was always what she was all into. I was always more about being a parent, making sure my daughter gets what she gets. So that's why the attachment of her has always been with me all along. and even with my second daughter has been the same. I have taken care of them since their birth all along till today.
Was there any complaint on for you from your wife in terms of you being too possessive for the kids when things were normal? Was there any sort of ego clash?
Absolutely, there was nothing as such. The love was always there. I think, as I mentioned, the things started when their parents visited here after my second daughter was born. The liberty was a lot more that I wanted the parents to be here. Even my first daughter was born during the baby shower. I called the second time, and second daughter was born. I called her parents. I think the things started changing when they asked, can we have the second daughter? Can we take her to India and raise her? And that's where things changed when I said no. I adamantly said, that's my children are not charity. I am here. I am not going to let them.
And what was the reason why they wanted her, and how your wife responded to this idea?
She probably, I think she was thinking, okay, we'll go there and all of us would probably live there. Maybe kind of Garja, my kind of thought process. Maybe that was probably their thinking, which again, completely against of my thoughts. You know, I have lived here. I have a successful career here. My children are born here. And of course, as any parent, millions of children in India, even big VIPs, send their children to United States for the better living, better education. So here, as a parent, me, already here, born citizen children, obviously I would have never thought of going back, living a life that they wanted me to live.
So far, till things started turning the other way, they were as ideal as one can imagine. There was no financial constraint that would prevent her parents from coming to America. And your family was already here?
Yeah, my family was already here. We've been here since 1991, as I mentioned, all together. Her family was never an issue to come here. They usually used to visit every once a year. So financial constraint was never there. We visited as well as and when possible until when things changed. And then I said, I'm not going to go again, because my worry was my children would be kept hostage there.
Okay, so your second daughter was born. Then you didn't allow her to be taken to India. And how this decision of yours affected your wife, and was there any symptom which you felt is not normal in her?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I believe they were in discussion with her father. She was continuously, and I overheard that he was telling her that just bring the children here and then we will see that kind of situation, is where I said, this is too much. So I filed for divorce. And that's where, the divorce was contested by both sides in 2009 all the way till 2011, where I...
Okay, let me try and understand. So you are hearing her talk to her father, being persuaded that bring kid to India, and then we'll see. So you hear that and you file for divorce?
No, also I see her having some passports that she tried to get of my children without my knowledge, and they were Canadian passports. Passports that she tried to get. How would somebody who is an American citizen try to get some passports of Canadian passports? Now, on the other end, there were also, at that point, she was trying to show some symptoms of anger and so forth, where I had to call police once to make sure that she doesn't harm herself or the children, or actually more of my child. I was worried about my second daughter. So the police was in, they were called, and they basically told her that she needs to go through some kind of consulting or some kind of, medicine or whatever they maybe, so she doesn't take adverse steps that she was trying to take. So that was also part of that piece, where after the fact I filed for divorce, that I was worried about children and I was worried about her, at what she was trying to do.
So 2 kids born, and when your second daughter was 2 years or something that you filed for
She
divorce?
was a year and a half old. She was born in 2007 February. I filed for divorce in 2009 January.
And of course you filed that here, and
Yes.
both of you were citizens. So what happened after that?
After that, she contested the divorce. However, she went for a visit. She said she was going for a visit for 2 months with a return ticket.
That was during the period when the divorce proceedings were going on?
When I just filed at the time.
Okay.
So she said, I want to go visit. And I said, fine, no problem. And she went for divorce, for 2 months visit, not knowing that I didn't know she was pregnant. So at that time, in the month of April, she said, I'm going to contest the divorce. I find out she was pregnant. I said, okay, why don't you come back? I'm going to pull back. We'll be all fine. You're going to have a third baby, and so forth. Ultimately, she delivered the child just to give that child away to her parents. She didn't come, even though there was a round-trip ticket for her to come. So she did not come back. And then she came back after delivering the child, probably left the child in India with her parents and came here and continued to contest the divorce.
I just want to sort of process this information, and now this looks like, the way you say it now, like she had it in her mind, and maybe, and again based on what I hear from you, and one is led to think that it was a preconceived decision on her part,
Pre-planned.
that she wanted to give birth to another child for her parents. That's what we.
That's how I think it probably was, and that's why I was not informed. And when she was there, she did not return and gave the delivery of the child purposely there. Now, keep in mind the thing to be noted is because she went on a visit 2 months. She was going to come back. It's not like you can go today. I can go somewhere and deliver a child in a plane or some other country. Doesn't mean you don't come back to the jurisdiction of the family where the bond is of the family here. She purposely didn't come back.
Okay, so here are two sides.
Sure, sir.
One, you in a way had already decided that you are going to go separate ways. So legally, whatever it says, but maybe in her mind and in her parents' mind, you are already going separate ways, and so there is this issue of this unborn child who technically you are not separated, but just thinking from the way their mind might be working.
Once I found that she conceived here, that I found, I kind of basically told her, well, you're going to have third child. Let's not worry about all this. Just come back and we're going to be together again. It's a happiness, right?
So this you talked to her on phone?
Yeah, I did. Yes, absolutely. I begged her actually on the phone. Why don't you come back? What are you doing? So she said, no. You come back with children here, and then we'll see. These were the terms and conditions. I said, no, this is not the right thing to do. You just come back with it here. We'll give the birth to the child. Keep in mind, this child is going to be American citizen. We want to make sure that children are together. We don't want to separate them. These are the things that I pleaded her. I cried. I pleaded her so much. They didn't listen. They tried to use my goodness in the wrong way, thinking that I will break down. I almost did break down at some point. But ultimately I had the strength. No, I'm doing wrong if I break down. I have to fight for my 2 children and for my third child, which I did. I fought that in the US court.
So the third child never came back to America?
I don't know for sure, to be honest. Whether she brought her back or she did not, I have no idea.
But you have not seen her?
I have not seen her directly. I have indirectly seen her through webcam only once, because the judge over here, US court judge, ordered her to show the child and bring the child here.
When this order was given, she was present here?
She was present here, absolutely. She actually testified in front of court, gave herself and the child to the jurisdiction of the US court. She said, I'm taking US citizenship. I am testifying under the oath. She said, I'm going to bring the child here. We both together filed for her passport of the child, with US passport, which was handed over to her father, so her father can bring the child here. Unfortunately, instead of her father bringing the child here, she went to the Indian embassy saying that she needs another passport, Indian passport, even though she was US citizen there at that time. She went to the Indian embassy.
Now, as we were discussing previously, this issue of her not leaving America was decided in the court?
Yes, it was decided in the court. She asked the court. Court asked her, what you want to do, what's your plans? So she said, I am taking a US citizenship, I'm planning to live here, it's all under oath, it's all in the orders of the US court, and she said, I'm wanting to bring my child here. That was her under oath, basically pledge that she gave. Based on that, we both applied for the third child's passport, which is right here, which was handed over to her father in India by the US consulate Mumbai.
I see.
And he picked that passport. His job was to bring the child here. Unfortunately, he did not bring the child here. On the contrary, she went to the Indian embassy and got another passport fraudulently acquired, obviously, that she was probably holding Indian passport or something, which she used to...
No, here I want to understand. You already said that she was a US citizen. She
Yes.
is a US citizen, right?
Yes, she is a US
So,
citizen.
if a US citizen goes to Indian embassy, will they not counter check all his background, whether she is American citizen or Indian citizen? If she's not an Indian citizen, how can they issue Indian passport to her?
I am with you. I would ask the same question, would they not? But obviously, as you can see, the orders and the letter that I got from the Indian embassy stating that she has approached the Indian embassy for the Indian passport, and the order of the US court, you can see stating that her passport is in the possession of the court, and she had some other means to leave and flee from the United States to India.
So here American court is asking her not to leave America, and she goes to Indian consulate, gets Indian passport, though she is not an Indian citizen. This is kind of difficult to understand and comprehend that goes in
Not
the
on-
territory where it is illegal.
Not only that, she accuses me of holding her Indian passport, which is not even true because any of her passports are with the judge.
So this is in the District Court of Johnson County, Kansas Civil Court Department,
Yes, sir.
which mentions following the testimony, the parties met with their respective consul, including their immigration consul, to discuss the most expeditious process in which to retrieve Kiara Ved from India and transport her to the United States. Now, when she asked that she wants to travel to India, the court said what?
So here she says about her testimony that she wants to come to US. Yes, she wants to she took the US citizenship, she says that here. And then the court here says, the court has previously made an order requiring the respondent to allow the court to hold her passport while she was present in the United States. The court still has possession of the said passport.
Oh, so her passport was with the court.
Still the court.
Because
And not because she was a flight risk. The court was worried she will run away, not bring the third child, or try to take away the two other children here without no notice of the court. So
this order was issued in response to your
not only that, our actions, that she did not bring the child for already 2 years to the United States. So her action, it says over here, the court is very cautious with her behavior and her actions, and accordingly gives the custody of all three children to the
so
father.
now just thinking loudly as a layman would about the legal matters. Here is a person who is a US citizen, and court asks her not to go to India, and her passport is seized so that she doesn't travel. Now she goes to Indian embassy and takes an Indian passport and then goes to India. So American court may be in a position to go after her, get her back from India, because she has committed fraud, or she has disrespected American court. So what American court did, if you mentioned this,
They have given 2 warrants issued against her. Bench warrant has been issued for not following the orders of the court, and then the second warrant is a felony warrant with a $100,000 bond was issued against her for inciting the child away from the custody of the father.
and this was 2011.
2011.
So 2011, and she went in 2010.
2011 only. She went in June.
Okay, so these things in terms of the court orders. Oh, she took this passport on 17 June 2011, and here is this American court in November 18th 2011 sending
The warrants.
warrants. Then how it was followed up in India?
So afterwards, as you can see, the Interpol notice for the child was issued.
So
For my
the
child,
picture
yeah.
that you have on this Interpol Probably we'll also share that here it is, this missing alert, this was issued by Interpol, but and the top picture is the real picture, right?
It's the real picture. The bottom one is basically the age progress picture, that how she would be looking
I
based
see.
on the features of her.
So no response after this missing alert issued by
No response. No response. Quite. The U.S. Embassy tried to request for the welfare of the child, which was denied by the father, by her father, and that is right here. So what I did was I went to the Indian courts to get my justice, to get my child back. I fought through the family court. The family court judge, Mr. A.O. Kotle, was very good, and he basically said the parties are contested in the U.S. court already. There is no Indian jurisdiction. The orders have attained its finality, and gave the judgment in favor, which got appealed in the Mumbai High Court. The Mumbai High Court, I applaud Justice Roshan Dalvi, the lady judge. She was immediately, decisive. She gave exactly the same judgment, saying that yes, the family court order is in line. The U.S. court is contested court and attained finality. India does not have jurisdiction, and also said father can take the child after 12 weeks of its order. Then the Supreme Court order was, then the Supreme Court, they appealed in the Supreme Court in 2012 of the High Court order, which finally I got that order in July of 2016, upheld the Mumbai High Court order, upheld the US Court order, dismissing her any of her filings in my favor. That yes.
Okay, so now you went to India, I think, couple of times. You have direct experience of working in the Indian judiciary system. So is there any provision that you go to police or there is police to follow up on the court order so that it is executed?
It is very difficult. Apparently, if you can see, currently, based on what I know, is if my child is no more, based on what I'm hearing now, which I don't think it's true, I think my child is still alive somewhere, but let's just say if that is based on the hospital report that I have received, if she's no more, then the police...
When did you receive this hospital report?
The hospital
this was before Supreme Court's decision or after that?
This was two to 3 weeks before the Supreme Court decision. So that's why I'm suspicious, is why obviously the judges, the courts and the other side knew that they don't have merit.
And you came to know that your child is in the hospital. You tried to find out how she's doing?
Yes, I tried to find out. I requested the US Embassy Mumbai also, and they also contacted the hospital, and the hospital basically sent a letter which was given by Subhas Dutia, who is her father, on his letterhead as an attorney, saying do not give any information to anybody regarding Kiara's health. Now, what are they trying to hide? Why are they trying to say that, not give any information? I have no idea, but they were trying to hide something. At the same time, the report says, the medical report says the mother was never present while this child was treated. How can the mother never be present when the child is treated? Secondly, the report says she had a brain damage.
How old was that child at that time?
6.5 years of age.
I see.
And this is the letter that the
Medical
father gave.
Yeah.
And then the other piece, the Lilavati hospital report, which after pressing through the consulate, they issued the summary and the whole 200-page report, which basically says the child suffered brain damage, brain dead, due to a medicine called Trica, which is alphazone, known as alphazone, and has a contents of basically a toxin poison, which is benzodiazepine. It's a toxin. Probably in her, she took it in her, this child. Obviously, any child will never take it. It couldn't be an accidental, because nobody will keep this kind of medicine in front of a child. And secondly, no child would I have ever seen. I've grown two other daughters. When they even have flu or fever, they will not happily even take Tylenol from me. So how can a child take some kind of toxic poison voluntarily or accidentally? Obviously, this is probably I see it's some kind of murder if this is my child. And maybe it is not my child and it's somebody that they implanted and it's all foul play, and my child is hidden somewhere still and alive.
There was nobody from your family or someone known to you who could visit the child in the hospital?
Nobody, not only that, if they could even try, as you can see, they even denied a US consulate. US consulate tried to go there and see, can we visit the child? The hospital said no.
So how Indian government and Indian courts work with American legal system in such matters? Because you clear-cut have order from American court, but it was not followed through in India, so how that works?
That is the concern. I think it's an open hole right now. It doesn't work. I believe what it should happen is two countries. Again, India is coming up, and I'm proud that they are coming up at an equal stage in a global environment. Of course, they want to do that, right? So, but at the same time, India and US has to have equal sharing of this kind of issues where humanitarian issues for our children are taken care of. This is basically a justice for our children, right? Their innocence, their childhood is gone. My child's 6.5 years are gone day after day to not just be with me, but also to be with her two elder sisters. Those days are never going to come back. Those are golden days. There is not enough thing in the world that can give me those days back, right? And now today, even after what I hear that my child is no more, which I suspect that is not the case. I think she's still alive and this is all foul play. But yet, after all this, when the US Embassy is asking the Mumbai police to get complete report of the autopsy and give the death certificate and the cause and bring justice to my child, 6 months have passed and the Mumbai police is saying we are still investigating.
So this is the letter which was given to Khar police station?
Given by Khar police station to the US Embassy. On their inquiry, where is the investigation? And they are saying they are still investigating after 6 months. And sir, I don't have an answer for my child. Where is my child? I fought for 6.5 years through various two countries, all court system of the two countries. This is foreign shopping. That's another thing that they have done. But two countries, all court system through that. Finally, I get through the judgments on merit. And I find 2 weeks before the Supreme Court of India, the apex court gives a judgment, my child is no more.
Very sad. I'm sorry to hear that. But what I would applaud again is your strength and your persistence to pursue this matter. And let us hope the other possibility that you mentioned, maybe your child is alive and there was some foul play and this was another child implanted, though that is also sad if any child has died due to poisoning. But whatever be the situation, Indian system should be in a position to respond to you and take care of this gray area where you are not sure as to what has happened to the third child. But let's come back, and raising two daughters as a single father, it's not an easy thing to do.
I'm proud of them. I would raise them any day, every day, over and over again. And even the third daughter, they are my Mata Ranis, my Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, and my Saraswati that I am fighting for. All three daughters are my goddesses. I have never till today raised my eyebrow to any of them, and I'm proud of them. Someday, I mean, they're getting the best education. I want the third one to get the same best education, the same upbringing that the other two are getting. But someday, I wouldn't be surprised if they become the President of the United States or equal stature of that. I will do my best, but till today, I'm very proud father. They are doing best. They're getting best grades. They're playing soccer. They're winning the soccer trophies. I want to make sure that they get the best, but not only that, they are the best. They make me proud.
And at this point, when you are working with the focus of increasing awareness in terms of this black hole, if I say, where some people take advantage of the not very quick communication and action between two nations on legal fronts, that causes problem and avoidable problem for many parents. Again, two people who decide to live together, let there be a situation that they never have to go separate ways. But when that happens, and on the backdrop of the international, which is like a global village, yet many people like Dharmesh are facing, and I have been in touch with some more people who are facing similar situations because of this legal entanglement of their rights. And they are deprived of the presence of their son, their daughter, either mother is here or the father here, as is your case. So, have you collectively tried to address this with Indian government on some level?
Yes, absolutely, and I will continue to do so. I have sent many letters to not only Indian officials, the Indian Prime Minister, as well as the US President and the Secretary of State and so forth. Ultimately, the goal here is, it's the future of our children. Do not play with the innocence of children. Make sure their future and their present is secured. Let the jurisdiction of the competent courts where the children are, have that competent court make that decision. If it's a US competent court with the US citizens' children, let that court decide accordingly and immediately take actions, as you do see in states within the US, one state to the other, how they work together. Similarly, India should do the same. Or if there are children of Indian origin that are being taken away somewhere and kept hostage.
Okay, here is one more angle. In your case, if your wife was US citizen, when she goes back, of course she has gone in a way which is totally throwing legal respect out of the window, because being US citizen, she took Indian passport, which calls for additional investigation how that can happen. Secondly, if you are a US citizen, you go back to India, then if you are not an Indian citizen, then is there any sort of question that needs to be raised?
I would think so, but again, I don't know how the Indian system works and how they do, but I would think that, if somebody is illegally living in India, there should be some precaution that they would be taking in terms of how they are living and what's going on. Again, I have been so busy to fight for my third child. It's something I have never explored and how, but it's a question as how things happen and how somebody can travel on a different passport being a citizen of a different country.
So basically, based on the papers and documents that I have in front of me, brought by Dharmesh Ved here at ITV studio, what he is saying tells us a story which requires some additional probe, investigation and action on the part of Indian authorities, as well as a broader evaluation of the situation where parents who are separated and they have legal commitments in one country and another country, and in this case America and India, then government should improve its way of response time to the plight of people like Dharmesh. And once again, I have my good wishes, and let's say there is one positive scenario: your child is still alive, and maybe there is a day when you get to have all your three daughters together under one roof. Second scenario, unfortunately, if what you heard from the hospital is true, then also this should be brought to justice. And with lots of good wishes to you, Dharmesh, and thank you very much for joining us here and sharing. This is not just your story; it could be anybody's story.
Absolutely.
And we need to learn a lesson from his experiences. So thanking Dharmesh and thanking all of you for being with us this Ashok Vyas.